What is going on, gaming nerds? Welcome back to Midnight Gaming with Mr. Designare. Thanks for coming to the channel and hanging out. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. It is midnight yet again. We are back on Russian Fishing Board. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I will be purchasing a brand new endgame reel for myself. I will be comparing the Megara 8000, the Tagara 10,000, and the Venga 8000, and deciding on my own personal preference what I would like to purchase. Let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, let me just go ahead and say a couple of things. Number one, this is my own personal preference when it comes down to these reels. It's based off of how I play the game, how I enjoy playing the game, how I want to play the game. It's all my personal preference. This is not going to be like the HSV and the Beluga Narga comparison, okay? I'm not going to go over too many of the costs and everything for repairs because I don't know them, and I'm not going to spend too much trying to get people to tell me. I will tell you about the Tagaras to give you kind of an idea when it comes down to like repairs and stuff like that. So I want to thank Galabastion and Big Daddy for helping me out when it comes down to answering a few questions about that. When it comes down to the Tagara and the costs of repairing and stuff like that. But for most of this, it's just going to be my personal preference, so it's not going to be as in-depth as the HSV and the Beluga Narga comparison. However, I will go over all of the different stats and stuff like that. So when it comes down to me as a player, I just want you guys to know I am not one of those guys that rushes to the end game. I know there's a lot of people in chat and stuff that start out with a Spark and then they save every single penny they've got and they just get a Venga, and that's it. They're on their way. I am not one of those guys. I buy as many rods and reels as I possibly can. I like to try a whole bunch of different stuff. I like to test out stuff. I like to enjoy the game, how it's meant to be played, nice and slow. I'm not rushing to end game very quickly, so I'm not going to be saving up for a Venga 10,000. Okay, just as a heads up for that. So when it comes down to this, basically, here's the type of player that I am. I like to have a pretty decent high drag weight. I like to have a lot of line capacity. Gear ratio is important to me, but it's not that important. Cost is important, but it's not that important again. And mech weight is fairly important as well, but it's not super important as well. As long as I can get my drag weight and my line capacity in there, I'm pretty happy as a player. Okay, so like I said, I'm not an end player or end game player. I rush to the end of the game and then I get bored and I quit. I'm trying to stay in the game as long as I can, play, have fun, fish for different fish. A lot of times I don't even fish for money. I just fish the different types of fish. And drag weight and line capacity is important to me, but also something that's very important is also quality, how many stars of quality they have. So the three that we're going to be looking at today is the Beluga Tagara 10,000, which is going for $20,771. As you can see, I am down here at the Ladoga Lake Beluga shop. I don't know if there's anything else that's cheaper like Volkov. I think they're probably, I think right here you get 20% off or something like that. So anyway, the Tagara 10,000 is going to be one. The Venga Beluga Venga 8,000 is going to be another one, as well as the Megara Beluga Megara. Now, I want to say something real quick about the Beluga Venga. I'm not sure exactly why people do this. A lot of people will jump into chat and someone will say, hey, you know, I'm looking at a Tagara. Should I get the Tagara or the Venga? And they're actually talking about the Venga 8000. And immediately people jump to saying, get the Venga. But what they're talking about is the Venga 10,000. And then they start comparing them. There is, in my opinion, there is no comparison between the Venga 10,000 and the Tagara 8000 and the Megara 8000. There is, or I'm sorry, the Tagara 10,000. and the Megara 8000. There is no comparison. In my opinion, the Beluga Venga 10,000 is 2 to 3 steps higher, or 2 to 3 tiers higher than these other ones. There's no reason to even compare them. There's no comparison, so I don't know why people say that. I understand when some people say, well, just save up for the Venga 10,000. I can understand that because you're looking at a 10,000 silver difference. Really, that's it. But 10,000 can be rough for some people. And me personally, like I said, I like to kind of just take my time and just go with what I'm going to go with and enjoy the game. And Tagara is one of the, Tagara, Megara, and the Venga are one of the ones I've been looking at for a considerable amount of time when it comes down to what I want to purchase. So I'm not going to be comparing the 10,000. So don't think of this as the 10,000. It's going to be the 8,000. The 8,000 is in the same tier as the Tagara and the Megara. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start off. The first thing we're going to start off with is quality. We're going to start off with the Beluga Megara 8000. The quality is 5 stars. Now, when it comes down to quality, as you guys know, the higher the quality, the higher the durability. The higher durability, the longer the reel will last, meaning it wears down slower. So this is nice, 5 stars. What about the Beluga Venga? The Beluga Venga 8000 is also 5 stars. Yay, 2 of them that are the same. However, the Beluga Tagara is only 4 stars, which tells me that it's a slightly lower quality than the other 2, which means it's probably going to wear down a little bit faster. Okay. And that kind of sucks. Honestly, this is kind of a big deal to me because when it comes down to wear, I usually like to choose the higher quality reel when it comes down to a lot of different reels that are considerably the same. So yeah, that's kind of just the way that it is. If you're looking at prices when it comes down to repairs, I don't know what the Megara and the Venga comes down to when it comes down to like friction brake repair and everything else like that. But I can tell you this, thanks to Galabastion and Big Daddy, the friction brake for the Tagara is around 300. Okay. The mech weight for the Tagara at 10% wear is around 1,000 to repair. That's kind of a lot. But my Beluga EVGA is actually kind of the same. So it's not really that big of a deal, not really that big of a difference for me. So that's kind of the repair cost to give you an idea when it comes down to like the Tagara. The Venga and the Megara might actually be more because they're higher quality reels. All right, so first, let's go ahead and look at the Megara when it comes down to the gear ratio. The gear ratio on the Megara is 4.7 to 1 rotation. So basically the flippy thing, the spinner thing goes around the spool 4.7 times for 1 rotation. The Venga is at a 6.0 gear ratio. That is massively fast. That is really, really fast. So this is going to be a good reel for lighter fish that you can quickly pull in, maybe even carp at Amber Lake. And then you've also got the Tagara, which actually comes out to be 4.2. Now, as you saw before, the Megara is 4.7 to 1. The gear ratio on the Beluga Tagara is 4.2. But if you guys didn't know, the Megara is actually slower than the Tagara, even though the gear ratio is higher. Why? It's because of this center spool in here. When the winding arm goes around the spool, the center spool is so small, and you can tell that it's small because you can get so much line capacity on it. It's so small that it doesn't take a lot of line to wrap around at once. So because the Tagara's center spool is larger, it pulls in more line per rotation of the spinner arm. Whereas the Megara, it doesn't take as much line to pull in or wrap around the spool to get 1 full rotation. You see what I'm saying? So the Megara is actually very, very slow compared to the Tagara, and there's a lot of people that complain about the Megara being super ridiculously slow. They can't stand it. Now, this is actually something I'm okay with. Why? Because when you get those big fat-bodied fish and they're worn out or they're not worn out and they just stopped moving, with the Megara being so slow, you can go ahead and start reeling in, and it's not going to overpower your brake and start backspooling your spool because it's going so slow. However, with the Tagara, because it's slightly faster, especially with the Beluga Venga at 6.0, because it rotates so fast, you actually may end up overpowering the brake and starting to backspool yourself a little bit. So this is why I'm okay with gear ratios being super low, especially for the Megara, because even if the fish isn't completely worn out, let's say that it just does one of those things where it's not running, but it's not worn out, it's just stopped. And you know, if you rotate the reel, it'll backspool as you're rotating it. In this case, because it moves so slow, you might actually be able to pull in some line. So this is why people really love the Megara, is it is super slow. You can pull in fast, big fat fish. It has a massive amount of line and it's a high quality. It's actually really, really good for pretty much any type of fishing, even trolling. So next, let's go ahead and look at the max drag. Now with the max drag on the Megara, it's 25.5 kilograms. The max drag on the Tagara is 26.5. So the Tagara has 1 kilogram more max drag than the Megara. Okay. And on the Beluga Venga, which we all know this is going to happen here, 27.5. This is 1 full kilogram bigger than the Tagara and 2 full kilograms bigger than the Megara. Okay, now when it comes down to my personal preference, I'm okay with a high max drag, but I also like to have a lot of line capacity as well. If I've got a huge max drag reel, I'm okay with that, but if it's got garbage line capacity, then I'm not okay with that, because eventually you are going to hook in to a massive fish sometime or another. And if you don't have that line capacity to back it up, then you can have all the max drag in the world. If you still hook into a massive fish that's still going to try and spool you, then you're not going to have the line capacity to back it up. So I do like a little bit more line capacity. So let's look at the line capacities. On line capacity on the Venga is 0.322 millimeters at 326 meters. I cannot read tonight. 0.32 millimeters at 326 meters. That's really not that great. Usually the sweet spot for me on this game is around 350 meters. When we look at the Beluga Tagara, it is 318 meters. And if we look at the Beluga Megara, it's 585 meters at 0.32 millimeters. This is a massive, massive amount of line. I really, really like how much line the Megara has. This is very, very attractive to me. However, did you guys see what I saw? Did you guys miss it? You probably missed it. Maybe you missed it. I don't know. The Megara is rated at 0.42 millimeters. It's rated at a thicker line at 318 meters. So this isn't correct. Okay. So here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and take the Tagara and I'm going to purchase the Tagara. I'm going to pull out one of my lines and I'm going to put the Tagara on with a 36. No, I'm not going to be using a 36. I'll be using a 28 until I can get a bigger rod. With the 28 kilogram line, I can put 474 meters on it. With the 28 kilogram line. So at 0.33 millimeters, I'm at 474 meters. That's actually a lot better than the 318 that we just saw a minute ago, right? Right. Okay. So why don't we just do that for the rest of them? Let's just go ahead and return that one. And we'll go back in and we'll buy the Venga. And we'll go in and put the Venga on. With the Venga at 28 kilograms, we're at 309 meters. That's actually smaller than what I was expecting. So that's not great either. I prefer more line, unfortunately, than what the Venga is offering. So last but not least, let's just go ahead and try the Megara. Here be our Megara. So the Megara has 556 possible meters of line on this bad boy. That is a massive amount of line. That's like what I like in the Beluga EVGA. That's why I like the Beluga EVGA, is because I can get 400, 500 meters of line on there. That's why I like the EVGA so much. So basically what we're looking at is with the 28 kilogram line, if I can just sell this back, with a 28 kilogram line, the Beluga Venga can get 309 meters. The Beluga Tagara can get 474 meters, which is a difference of 100, what was it? 82. The difference of 82 meters between the Beluga Venga and the Tagara. And then the Megara can get 556 meters of line. The difference between the, I think I've got all of my numbers wrong. The difference between the Beluga Tagara and the Beluga Megara is 82 meters. Okay. The difference between the Beluga Tagara and the Venga is going to be 165 meters. And the difference between the Venga and the Megara is 247 meters. That is a massive amount of difference. So basically what it comes down to now is I need to look at the different mech weights that are on it. So let's go ahead and jump over to Kilted Jock's website and we'll go ahead and look. All right, so we're over here. Let's go ahead and look at the Tagara 10,000. The Tagara 10,000s is 63 kilograms of mech weight for the Tagara 10,000. The Megara 8,000 is 72 kilograms. That's a huge amount of mech weight. And then when it comes down to the Venga 8,000, it is 66. So the Venga is 66. Let's see, the Megara is at the top with 72 meters or 72 kilograms of mech weight. The Venga is next with 66 kilograms, and then the Tagara 10,000 is at the bottom with 63. There's only a 3 kilogram difference between the Tagara and the Venga, so they're very, very close together. But the Megara's mech weight is actually pretty sexy. I hate to say it, but it's actually pretty sexy. I don't understand why people don't like the Megara more, because I mean, it is a very, very nice reel. It's got a huge mech weight. It's got a huge line capacity, but there's one thing that I'm not really big about the Megara, and that is its drag weight of 25.5 kilograms. Now you see exactly what they're doing here. The Megara is sacrificing drag weight for a massive amount of line capacity. The Venga is doing the exact opposite. It is sacrificing line capacity for a high max drag. However, when it comes down to the Tagara is splitting both. It's giving you a little bit of line capacity and it's sacrificing 1 kilogram of drag weight. I think this is why the Tagara is so popular, is because it's kind of a mid-range thing. You've got almost the max drag of the Venga, but it's not as low as the Megara. You've got almost the max line capacity of the Megara, but it's not as low as the Venga. So this is why people like the Tagara so much. Gear ratio, absolutely fine with this. Max drag, absolutely fine with this. Mech weight, I'm okay with the 66 kilogram mech weight and everything else that's on it. When it comes down to line capacities, a lot of people, if I didn't mention it, 36 to 40 kilogram line weight for trolling and carp fishing, 55 to 60 line weight for sturgeon and catfish. There, I think I said it properly that time. So when it comes down to it, my problem is I haven't purchased a new rod yet, so I'm still going to be using my my Super Duty. So basically what it comes down to is, what do I want to do? To be completely honest with you guys, the Tagara is probably the most attractive to me right now. Like I said before, not as much max drag, but just a little bit less. Not as not as much max drag, but a little bit less than the Venga. Almost as much line capacity as the Megara, but not quite as much. The only thing that's making me iffy is the fact that it's only a 4-star reel. I think personally it should be a 5-star reel. The Venga is a 5-star. These are going to be more durable. plain and simple. The Venga is very attractive. If the the Megara is very attractive. If the Megara had a max drag of 26, I would purchase this right now. But for me, as a player, knowing how I like to play, knowing what I like is a lot of max drag and a lot of line capacity together. Ladies and gentlemen, my first big endgame reel will be the Tagara 10,000. The next endgame reel I'm going to do is going to be the Beluga Megara. I will not be going for the Venga because it just does not have the line capacity, and I feel like the Megara is kind of a pretty sexy reel in my opinion. The Venga is just not quite there when it comes down to the line capacity. So that is pretty much it. That is my own personal preference. I will be throwing out lines and testing out different lines and what I can use. I'm going to start out with a 28 kilogram because my Super Duty is only at 30. I may jump up to a 30 kilogram line capacity with a 10% below 30 kilogram liter, which is what, 30, 29, 28, 27, around a 27 liter. I'll probably just keep using the 28s because the 28s, obviously they've got a little bit of wear on them. So that is my own personal choice. There's a little bit of a comparison for you. Like I said before, when it comes down to Tagara, to give you an idea of what the repair costs on all of these are going to be. Friction brake 300 silver, mech at 10% around 1,000, which is pretty much exactly what my Beluga EVGA is. Is my EVGA off? My mech on my Beluga EVGA is 1,000 as well. So that's not going to be too much of a change for me. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, don't hit it. Just make sure no matter what you do, subscribe. Thanks for coming to the channel and hanging out. I appreciate it. Keep gaming. Keep doing it midnight. Have a blast. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Have a good one. And bye-bye.